Microphone check. 1, 2. Hello. Z, thank you very much. Z, I think you're the first person almost every single chat that responds with the mic check. Are you trying to hold my hand, Carla Marie? What are you doing? That is assault, brother. Oh, go, keep going. Carla Marie's out here trying to be unprofessional. Disgusting. Ew.
I'm gonna just bit your arm.
No, stop. That's weird. It's a good question, Claire. Carla Marie's being all weird. Were you going for the mouse?
Yes, but your hand was on it.
Well, then you haven't used it since then.
But you did. I was gonna make the chat.
Good morning. I see Claire in there. Z shouted you out. Let's see. Got Lisa, Lenny, run like a husky.
Lisa Lenny, didn't she used to open for Pearl Jam?
No, Lisa Lenny opened for Coro and TKA. I was really just going off of Lisa.
That's what I was in my head. What?
Yeah, Lisa wouldn't have opened for Pearl Jam. What?
Look at my hair.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
What is happening?
I don't know. That's your head.
I washed it this morning. Nara, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm probably due for a prescription soon.
Marianne from NYC, good morning. AMS, I see Mello in there. Mish and Vicky. Jess is in the house, or maybe in a house. I don't know where she is, but in something.
Is anyone outside?
Good question. Maybe taking us on a morning stroll.
I think I'm gonna make Charlotte the Spider her own Instagram account.
Yeah, but then what are you gonna do in like 3 weeks when she's gone?
Where's she gonna go?
I don't know. How long do spiders live?
I looked up the kind that she is, and it's like years.
She's not gonna be there.
She's young because I watched her grow from small to big.
Oh, Erica said she was outside a while ago, and then she's gonna go for a walk.
I was also outside a while. Oh, they live about a year. They spend most of their time hunting and building webs. That sounds
10.
Oh, if they're indoors,
9,
2 years.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
Got a question for you. And I don't know if anyone knows the answer. I'm sure some biologist knows this, but is there a direct correlation between how smart, or how intelligent, I should say, a species is and how long they live? Because we were talking while the countdown was going on about our pet spider, Charlotte, who lives outside. She's an outdoor spider. Okay. And you found out that she lives for that breed or whatever, lives for how long?
Yeah, she's a European barn spider. And
how'd she get here?
I was looking that up.
The Mayflower?
Must have been on a boat. They typically live for about a year. During life cycle, barn spiders spend most of their time hunting and building webs. If they're indoors, they may live up to 2 years, but outdoors they'll die once the cold weather occurs.
Wow, so I offered Carla Marie yesterday to get a tank for Charlotte.
No.
To make her a pet spider, an indoor spider. So you're willing to cut her life short by a year.
Because of quality.
By 50%.
Because guess what? It's like putting a dolphin in a cage. She doesn't want to live in a tank.
Yeah, but she lives in a window right now.
She doesn't live in a window.
Basically, she doesn't go very far. Anyway, my question was, normally insects don't have very long lifespans, right? Like flies can be alive for a couple days.
Yeah.
But then you have like a tortoise that can be 130 years old. Whales can be pretty old. Humans obviously pretty old as well, comparatively to other animals. Is there some sort of correlation between how intelligent, because we consider dolphins and whales to be pretty intelligent, is there a correlation between how intelligent they are and how long they live?
Well, I think we think dolphins are super intelligent because they can communicate with one another.
That's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
Right, but we don't like, can turtles communicate with one another?
I think all animals communicate in some capacity.
Right,
They might not have like a spoken language or vocalizations that one another understand.
You would think that if a turtle's around for 100 years, it would learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But
do we know any biologists, like really smart people? Maybe we could call Woodland Park Zoo.
You took a time-lapse video of Charlotte building her web yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a super close-up video watching just the web come out of their butts. And she goes so fast and just like loops it with one of her 8 arms and just...
Do we call them arms or legs?
Legs. It's like, it is fascinating. I literally said, I got to get an elementary school to come by here and look at this because...
It's a big spider now too.
But when she moved in, I'm telling you, she was tiny.
Charlotte the spider is big enough now that if you saw her in your home, you would shit yourself.
Yes. And it's not just leg, because there's the Seattle house spider that is like...
That's a specific thing, the Seattle house spider?
Yes. And it's the legs, it's what Olivia, our neighbor, had when I showed you the photo on her wall, because they can get in because their bodies are really tiny and their legs are like 4 inches long. Okay. That was the spider that one day that I opened the back door and it ran inside like it was a squirrel and I screamed my head off. Yeah. So she's not like, I don't think she would fit into anything.
She's got a big old booty.
Her butt is big.
Yeah.
Which, do you think that means she's pregnant with more eggs?
Maybe. Is that where they keep their eggs in their butt?
Well, her butt is her whole body.
I don't know.
It's nuts.
I would love, maybe we can get someone from Woodland Park Zoo to come on here and just talk animals for a little bit.
I would like someone from Woodland Park Zoo to come to my house.
And do what?
Talk to me about it.
They're not architects. What are you talking about?
About the web.
Okay,
and
you can take a picture.
Why does this bitch move it? Like, she takes it and she'll literally move it.
Mm-hmm. It is crazy, and maybe I'll post the time-lapse video to my story. It's not like the whole web is being made, but the middle of it was kind of empty.
Because she uses it to wrap her prey.
Yeah.
I watched her eat the head of a bug the other night.
She was going around, just in the circles, weaving her whole web, and it is fascinating to watch.
Yeah, so the other night, I watched her, like, eat a bug to the point where I saw its blood dripping.
No, you didn't. You don't have blood, do they?
Bugs? This bug did. It was like the inside of it was like, I don't know, when you squish a bug, there's smears.
I guess that's true. But they don't have blood like we have blood.
No, but it was like, I saw the insides. And I was watching her like slowly eat. Ugh.
All right, moving on to our list today. What I learned in the last 24 hours, we'll get into that shortly. Taking McDonald's hostage. I think we've done it as a society, and I think we can keep doing it. I think we can start bullying these companies and taking them hostage. And I think we need to. I think we all, listen.
Can we maybe use a different word?
No. Fuck them. I don't care. I'll take every corporation hostage. And I know that sounds scary coming from someone that looks like me. I get it.
I'm sorry, you're Tony. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right. Today I'm Italian Tony. We're all going to talk about the MTV VMAs because there was this weird thing that happened yesterday, and at least in the brief portion of the VMAs that I watched, where I felt hip enough, but also kind of old.
Yep.
At the same time.
It was bizarre.
There were times I was like, who? What?
Yeah.
And then there are times I was like, oh yeah, I know that. I know all these words. Okay. The world is ending in 2029.
I'm excited.
Talk about that. And when do you share baby news? This is something from one of your friends, right? It's a little debate of some sort. All right. Yes. What I learned in the last 24 hours,
What is it?
What I have learned in the last 24 hours, and really what I've learned this week is, as you get older, things change. And now, if I was in my mid-20s and I had like a crazy weekend where I was out like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fun day, there might be a Monday where I need to recover. Now, I just need to recover from plans. Like if I have plans over the weekend, it takes me until Tuesday to fully recover.
Yes.
And I was wondering why on Monday and Tuesday I was so tired. And then I realized it's not like I went out drinking.
You did
I didn't party. I didn't stay out late. I just had plans Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
What did we do Friday?
Friday, we like rode our bikes around and did a bunch of stuff.
We were very all over.
Then Saturday, we went down towards Mount Rainier.
We had a Korean barbecue.
And then Sunday, you had your game, and we had our friend from Colorado in town to watch the Broncos lose to the Seahawks. Second time he's come to town to do that, actually.
Yeah.
So I have maybe total in those 3 days had 2 drinks. I got to sleep reasonably early every day, but I just did stuff, and then I needed to recover. And I realized that's how you know you're getting older.
But how are you going to feel when you're 70?
Oh, I don't plan on making it that long.
Anthony.
I don't know. At this rate, if I can't do 3 things in a row, I don't know if I'm making it to 70.
Like, I think about that about my parents when they babysit.
Yeah.
Like, how you have to be exhausted.
Yeah, they probably are. And they're babysitting 2 kids or just one?
Just one. But she's like 6 kids.
She's
a maniac.
I think everyone says that, but if there was another kid in there, it'd be very, very different. Because then I think the problem when you're watching multiple kids is there's the balancing act, especially when they're that age where like they need naps and stuff, but one of them's not napping and the other is, and the one cries and wakes up the other one. It's a mess. I can't imagine how terrible that is. But back to just getting older. Let's see. My brother Justin said, "You're the healthiest brother. If you're dead by 70, I'm dying tomorrow." I don't know. It's just tough being alive these days and being
you used
awake.
to tell me you weren't making it to 35.
Yeah. I beat
But
that.
These are extra years.
I beat that. Yeah, I'm just living on borrowed time now. This is all bonus time.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's see. Erica P said, "I don't want to get older than 75. I feel like that's enough."
Yeah, see, but like my dad's 79, so I don't.
I think in reality, not being funny at all, I think we all just want to live until
Our quality of life declines.
our bodies, until we're not able to do things on our own.
Right.
Right? As long as you can do things on your own and you have self-determination, right? Go out on walks, do that kind of stuff. I think we'd all be pretty happy with that. Whether you're 65 or 105, that's what you want to be doing. Once that changes, I think mentally there's a struggle. There has to be a struggle there.
For sure.
I'm not saying you all of a sudden want to die. I just think it's probably a tough thing to figure out, like to come to grips with the fact that you don't have self-determination.
Like Vanessa just said, I just don't want to rely on someone else for me to function.
Yeah.
I want to be functional. Yeah.
Let's see, Erica P. I've had 5 back surgeries in my 40 years. I think I'll be pretty done by 75. Listen, I hope we're all here for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more than anything, I hope that the time we have is healthy time and enjoyable time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we talked about it when our friend Steve passed back in May. You don't know how much time you have. Do what you can. Take care of yourself. Be nice to the people around you. That's all you can really hope for, right? Let's see. Vanessa with 1S, 36 years old and never one surgery, not even a C-section after 3 births.
Oh, well, look at you, Miss Braggadocious.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. Someone I know was going in for a knee surgery. And I thought to myself, it dawned on me that I have never been what?
Knock on wood when you're saying this?
So far in my life, I haven't been cut into. Like, I've never even had, like, a camera shoved down my throat or up my butt.
You had stitches.
I did have stitches, but I wasn't cut into for stitches. Right. I was already cut.
You're
and
also,
they were healing me.
You're going to have to get a camera in your butt soon.
Yeah, probably. But it's kind of crazy. And I know I'm super fortunate. I don't know. I've put myself into a lot of situations where I probably should have had a surgery if things didn't go the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no surgeries. I guess a root canal.
Eh.
It's like, that's a mouth surgery. I mean,
Are you awake?
Yeah.
But you've never been put to sleep.
No.
It's a good nap.
I kind of want to be.
It's nice.
How long are you normally out for? Like, is there?
It all depends.
Do they have to wake you up at some point, or can they put you like? Is there a limit to how long they can keep you under?
Well, there are surgeries that'll be hours and hours and hours. No, Anthony has all his wisdom teeth.
Yeah, they all grew in. 4 wisdom teeth, baby. Let's go.
6, and all got them all out.
I hadn't gone to the dentist for years, and there was a day where I finally made a dentist appointment when I was back in Jersey City. And the dentist was looking in my mouth and said, "Hey, do you have any pain in your jaw?" I said, "No. Should I?" And they said, "Well, it looks like all 4 of your wisdom teeth grew in. And normally I would ask if people want them out, but if you don't have any pain and your teeth aren't all jacked up, like I have a little bit of my front tooth kind of twisted a little bit because of them, I guess. But that's it."
Yeah, that one guy.
Yeah.
Wonder why he must have been the weak one that the others moved. Like, why didn't a different one move?
Well, it's towards the front, and those are thinner, smaller teeth, probably.
I see. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I got an orthodontist if you want.
To do what?
I'm just kidding.
What, to fix them?
Yeah.
I'm good for now. I am good for now. Let's see. Erica P was under anesthesia for 16 hours.
Yeah, that's insane.
Okay.
Don't the doctors get tired?
My question was 16 hours, like, what if you go to the bathroom?
They have she's probably connected to a...
Then it's just like right out there? Like a vacuum? I don't know how like I said, I've never been in surgery. I don't know how any of this stuff works.
Well, there's probably a catheter and then a poop bag, maybe.
Man, that's crazy. I guess I never really thought of that. It doesn't really matter whether it's 16 hours or 2 hours. Sometimes you just got to go.
Yeah, I mean...
Unless they make sure that you fast for a while. Okay, yeah, Erica P said you don't eat or drink for a while before surgery because they want you to be like clear.
Oh my God, so what do you go, 24 hours not eating?
Man, that's wild. But then, okay, but if you go 24 hours without eating before your surgery, then you're in surgery for 16 hours.
At
some point you got to eat.
Probably go 12 hours not eating.
But that's, okay, so 12 hours of fasting.
They're giving you nutrients. People are in comas and they don't eat.
Yeah, but I need to, like, munch on something, you know?
You won't know.
All right, moving on from what I learned in the last 24 hours to taking McDonald's hostage. So, if you remember, over the summer, McDonald's brought back their $5 value menu. And if you remember before that, I feel like anywhere you went, whether it was a big city or a small town, McDonald's was getting wildly expensive.
Yeah. I did learn that different franchises can adjust the price of their own.
And that makes sense because, you know, you're paying more for example, for your real retail space in Seattle than you are in any other in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So prices need to adjust, but I feel like here in Seattle, at least, and then there's the airports, but you were paying close to $20-25 for a value meal. So that's not a value.
So then can McDonald's say to all these franchises? Well,
there's a franchisee. That's the person that owns it. And then there's the franchise. So both of those would have been right.
But can they say it to all those people? Hey, you can't charge more than $5. Like, how does this work?
So they brought back the $5 meal offer. And I don't know if McDonald's helps them recoup some of that money or whatever it is. It's I think a chicken, what was the sandwiches? Or what was the item? Okay. A McChicken sandwich or a McDouble, small fries and 4-piece nuggets or 4-piece nuggets and a soft drink for $5, okay? So you get those 3 meal options, for small fries, small soda, good to go, $5. They started that at the end of June. Early July was supposed to be a 4-week thing. They then extended it. And they just announced they're extending it again until December. And 93%, I believe, of the McDonald's franchises across the country are all participating.
Okay.
And
now I get it.
I think what we have to make sure we do is if for whatever reason you go to McDonald's, and I'm not telling you to go spend your money there if you don't want to, but if you do go, only buy the $5 value meal. If that's all we do as a society, if we say we are not buying a single thing off of this stupid menu for more than $5, they're going to have to figure out how to make that work for us so that they can stay open. And I think we should do it with everyone because I guess there was a quote from the McDonald's CEO who said,
right there.
No, it was a different one. It was the president, but it was something about how the restaurant industry this summer was focused on value for the customers. And they talked about how McDonald's and Burger King were both doing cheaper deals. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, you should have been. That was your job
That
as
was the whole
McDonald's and
point.
Burger King.
They weren't supposed to be upscale dining.
Yeah. I feel like they saw what Chipotle was doing. It was like, oh, we should get in on some of that.
Yeah.
We should get in on some of that expensive guac. No. You're McDonald's. You're Burger
If
King.
you're going to do that, I want you to make my burger in front of me then. That's part of the experience.
And let me pick my stuff. Your job is supposed to be quick
Yeah.
and cheap. You are not a real restaurant. Stop pretending to be one. Be McDonald's and give us our cheap food.
But how else are they going to afford that play place?
You know what? I don't even see anyone in those play places anymore, and that might be what's wrong with America.
I know.
We don't have enough kids in ball pits anymore.
You're not getting any of that slide burn on your leg. Builds character.
Let's see. Joanna_DJ said fast food prices have been soaring. And then I always look, I mean, we bring it up a lot here, and you can do the same thing in California or I guess Texas where there's some In-N-Out locations. We have Dick's Burgers here in Washington. And I think recently they may have done like a 50-cent price increase. But you can still get their best burger, their biggest burger, most expensive burger for like $4.
Yeah.
And In-N-Out is still very inexpensive for how big that franchise is.
But also, and I will point this out every time we mention this, Dick's Burgers will pay their employees, I believe, $25 an hour. They have full health benefits, every body part covered.
Yeah.
And as an employee, each year you get $4,000 towards either your schooling or childcare.
And I believe for, depending on how many hours you get, I believe you get,
You get
2 weeks
vacation
of
time.
paid vacation as
Yeah.
well. That's at a burger place,
Yeah.
which is the thing our parents told us growing up. Like, oh, if you don't study in school, what are you going to go flip burgers?
Yeah, they're probably doing better off now.
Probably. Mellow FM said, yeah, if I'm going to spend close to $20, I may as well go to Five Guys, which is 100% true. Like McDonald's and Five Guys should never be close in
No.
price. And if you can go, like we can do here in Seattle, not far from us, you can go across the street from McDonald's to Five Guys. If those prices are similar, something's wrong. And the reason I say we can hold these companies hostage is the only reason companies like Starbucks, McDonald's, and Burger King lowered their prices was because for a multitude of reasons, people stopped going. Some people stopped going because of health concerns. Some people stopped going because of the price. Some people made political statements and stopped going. And they said, shit, what are we going to do? We finally have to make something worthwhile for our customers to come back. And I say this, I feel like at least once a week. We have all of the power.
Oh.
They might have all the money, right? The president of McDonald's might be able to take his private jet wherever he wants. The president or the CEO now of Starbucks might be able to fly their jet literally once a week from California to Seattle to go to work. But we have the power. They don't exist.
Yeah, they only have that money because we pay for things.
We let them have it.
Yep.
And we can take it away whenever we want. It's kind of the whole concept of a democracy, right? We have the power. You might be the person in power, but we gave it to you.
It's kind of like
and we can pull that shit away whenever we want.
It's like the reverse of GameStop.
It is really.
How do we all get on board to boycott certain restaurants?
Well, that's what happened.
But how do
great.
we need that? Like, we need what's that guy who did it for GameStop?
Oh,
Who got banned?
Raging Kitty? No.
Soaring Kitty?
Why? It's something Kitty. Someone in the chat is going to know. Marijuana's in the chat. Hello.
He'll know.
Thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Well, the kitty guy, he can tell us where to eat.
Is it Roaring? Roaring Kitty.
Roaring Kitty.
Roaring Kitty, I think, is the name.
Yeah, he's the one that told everyone to go buy GameStop.
GameStop stock.
What did I say? GameStop. GameStop stock.
But this is, I think we just have to always like refocus because there's so many things to take our attention away from this fact, right? There's political differences, there's religious differences, there's gender differences, blah, 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 blah. We, if we come together, can fuck up everything we want to fuck up and save everything we want to save.
Marijuana said, I'm here for the anarchist awakening of the CMNA.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We start with McDonald's. We move it to Wendy's because they're getting a little out of pocket as well.
Yeah. But
Five Guys, we'll let them do their thing because those burgers are fantastic. Those are actually good burgers.
No, I would like them to stop using peanuts.
Oh, they use peanut oil, right?
Peanut oil.
Yeah.
It's offensive.
Here's the thing.
It's offensive.
They got a good product. I'm not going to let the weaker breed, people who are allergic to peanuts, dictate how good my burger tastes. You have weak genes. You stay in your weak gene restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I go to my strong gene restaurants, also known as Five Guys or anywhere. What was the place? I think it was a chain. They had them in New Jersey where you just threw like peanut shells on the ground.
Round.
The ground round. That was it? Just peanut shells everywhere?
They don't do it anymore.
Because people would just die. Let's see. Miss T said, I have not eaten McDonald's in over 20 years.
Good for you.
Wait, why are we burning Five Guys to the ground?
No, because the peanuts, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or no, I don't know. Marijuana. Are we not supposed to like Five Guys?
Which I actually haven't been to a Five Guys in a long time. I used to go,
Every day.
not exaggerating, 3 times a week. Because it was across the street from my apartment building. The burgers are delicious. It was easier than cooking. I had a job, so I could afford it. So I was going 3 days a week.
So Shingletown, the bar here, the country bar in Ballard, they still have peanuts.
Yeah.
And you can eat them and throw them on the ground. And I'm fine if peanuts are in the air. It doesn't bother me. The only reason I really know this is because when Steve was visiting for your birthday years ago, him and his wife Becca went in there. You were out with your brothers at a concert. And we're about to walk into Shingletown, and Steve was highly allergic to peanuts. And there's a sign in there that's like, right on the door, if you have a peanut allergy, do not enter. And I looked at him. He's like, no, I'll be fine. And that's what he would always do, even though all of us knew he would not be fine.
Yeah.
So we get in there, we order drinks, and within minutes, Becca gets hit on by a woman. And she's like, this is my husband. And the woman's like, oh, okay. And then Steve's like, I got to go. And I'm like, because she got hit on by a woman. He's like, nah, I can't really breathe.
Yeah. He was highly allergic.
And he started like having a reaction. So we had to go sit. I was like, Steven.
But he was highly allergic, but I think more dangerous to Steve than peanuts was missing out on a good time. So he would always risk it just a little bit.
Yeah,
He'd risk it for the biscuit.
Always.
You know?
Marijuana said Five Guys is in the billionaire class of burgers.
I would burn them down. That's it. They got to go. Got to go. What should we do next? I feel like as a community, we could probably boycott something. There's got to be something we could boycott. We'll think on that for a little bit.
I'm trying to think what's expensive that I want to come down in price.
Everything, the world, houses.
Yeah, everybody leave your house.
Everybody don't live in a house anymore until they bring the price down. We do want to talk about the VMAs in a second. Also, the world is apparently ending in 2029. I will explain that after this break. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. let's bring it back, shall we, Carla Marie?
Sure.
The god of chaos will rain down on us in 2029 and end the world.
Okay. Is that Nostradamus?
No, that's just apparently science. So, according to astronomers, there is an asteroid that could make contact with Earth. Where did this thing go? There it is. It's called the God of Chaos asteroid because it's named after Apophis, which I guess is the god of chaos in Greek or Roman, whatever. And it could hit Earth in 2029, but we won't know for sure until 2027. So in 2027, we'll know if we only have like 2 years left.
But then what do? Do they let it hit or they Armageddon this shit?
They should probably Armageddon it, I guess.
Would you go?
I feel like we've got enough satellites and nuclear weapons now where we could probably blow that thing out of the sky.
But then we're going to get a lot of little pieces.
Yeah, that's fine. That happens like all the time. They just burn up in the atmosphere. So what they're doing is they are tracking this asteroid right now. And they're saying that...
Oh, it's peanut-shaped. We're screwed. It says peanut-shaped.
They're tracking it right now because I guess the peanut-shaped space rock is about 1,000 feet long. It's 10 football fields, if you will.
It doesn't seem that big to kill us all.
No, not 10 football fields, 3 football fields. What am I talking about? 3.5.
Yeah.
They're tracking it right now because they need to see if another asteroid is going to make contact with it to then direct it even closer to Earth. Because right now on its trajectory, it'll most likely miss Earth. But if it gets a little nudge, one of these guys, it could smack into Earth.
So this article says it's the size of the Eiffel Tower, and it may not. So it's not considered a planet killer, as that's what they refer to it as. But it's big enough to wipe out a large city and trigger planet-wide climatic effects.
What city would it hit, though? I think we should probably focus on that first.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, maybe it's a city that we could clear out pretty quickly and just say, like, hey, everyone, get out. Let this asteroid do its thing. Maybe we could start fresh here.
Yeah, but the climate effects that you saw what happened to the dinosaurs.
That's true. We would be the dinosaurs. We're going to be the dinosaurs at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the dinosaurs probably didn't roam around with their big asses thinking like, oh, we're going to be extinct one day.
No.
They were probably like, we are the strongest thing
They
here.
didn't know science, though.
Yeah. Neither do we, apparently. So
it's fake.
But 2029. So if you got plans past that, don't worry about it.
Does anyone?
If you can get a credit card that won't make you pay off until 2030, maybe max it out and just hope for the best. Planet Killer is a sick band name. That actually is pretty.
Yeah, they definitely opened for Pearl Jam.
And then the other thing we got on the list right after the world ending in 2029, we got to jump back to the MTV VMAs, which I didn't think I was going to have any interest in because I feel like I haven't had any interest in the VMAs in a while. I also don't care who wins the awards.
No, it's just fun to watch.
Right.
It's at least at this point in my life, I used to like really care who won the awards when I was like a kid. Mm-hmm. But I am so pissed because they tape delayed it for us on the East Coast, which originally it told
West
me it
Coast.
started at, where do we live?
We live on the West Coast.
Started at 5 p.m. for us, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, but it did not. So it was happening, and I just had to sit there for 3 hours waiting for it to then happen here.
You didn't do anything else?
I just stared at a blank TV. So
there
that was
I can picture a lot of older people watching that and going, there's a lot of gay stuff going on in this, this VMAs.
So not even that, just there were like some performances where it made me think two things. One, when I was watching this stuff as a kid, I just remember my mom being like, what are you watching?
What is this filth?
They would never be like, turn that off. It was just, what are you watching?
Yeah.
And then they'd carry on. But also at the same time being like, oh my God, I don't know if I would let my kids watch this.
And when I say a lot of gay stuff, I don't mean like questionably, I'm not trying to say that's not the slang gay. I'm talking like
Katy Perry was scissoring someone on stage.
Yeah, and then well, I guess we don't know the gender of the alien, but Sabrina Carpenter made out with an alien for a little bit.
Because that was a nod to Britney and Madonna.
But I was assuming the way the alien was dancing, it was a woman. Because she was doing all the same moves. The alien, it was doing all the same moves as Sabrina Carpenter, who was dancing with an astronaut, who I believe was a man.
Only because the men the male dancers were also, they were in the same outfit.
Yes.
And their masks were up. So maybe.
So based on the context clues, I think the alien was also a woman.
So
The Katy Perry thing, though, that got pretty raunchy pretty quick.
It did. I'll be honest, though. I did love this award show. They did a really good job, probably because it was in New York, and award shows are always better there.
They are.
And I'm not being a dick when I say that. It just is. Just a better entertainment team most times.
I also feel like there are more fans or a bigger crowd in the New York ones than there are in Los Angeles ones. I don't know if it's the size of the venue they go to or the people they invite on each coast to all the events. The New York events, when there are award shows and whatnot, seem like they are packed with more real people.
You could hear the fans singing. Tell me the last time you heard that in an award show.
You brought up a good point because they were doing these like little vignettes as they would come back from commercials, like recaps of VMAs in the past, and they brought up Madonna in 1984,
the first ever VMAs, because last night was the 40th.
Yes, and she was performing like a virgin
in the wedding dress.
You brought up a good point because neither of us were alive when that happened, but it was replayed and mentioned so often that I felt like it was part of my life. I felt like I lived that as well.
I said
which
to Anthony,
is wild.
I said, was this like a performance she did all the time? Like, was the wedding dress like a virgin thing, a thing that she did? And he was like, no. It was just wild that it's so ingrained in our culture that I wasn't alive for it. And it just felt like it was part of my life.
Erica P31 said, what year was that she did it? So
1984. So last night was the 40th VMAs. That's why they were doing you saw a lot of throwbacks.
Mm-hmm. So what I liked was, first off, they had Chappell Roan.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did great. I was surprised she only did one song. That kind of blew me away.
It's weird.
And I guess she's pushing that song now in terms of like pushing it to pop radio and all the streaming services. But it was a great performance. I wish it was at least one more song. And maybe she just didn't want to do Hot to Go again, or she didn't want to do Pink Pony Club or whatever. If you haven't listened to her album yet, was it Diary of a Midwest Princess or something like whatever the album's called? It's really, really good.
It is great.
It's very, very good. I believe it went, in my mind, Madonna passed the torch at some point to Lady Gaga.
Britney had you can't, they
I guess you go,
yeah.
Madonna, Britney, Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan. I'm telling you, she is the closest thing.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about VMA performances.
No. I'm just talking about like who they are as pop culture influences. A rise and fall of a Midwest princess. Thank you very much, Marijuana.
Were you thinking Princess Diaries?
Something, I don't know. The feeling that I had when Lady Gaga first came out, and just like, oh wow, it's pop music, but it's different, and it's a little rebellious, and it's a little crazy. The only time I've had that feeling is Chappell Roan.
Yeah, I agree. I get that.
You know, she's just a little bit different. Texas Chris said Madonna passed the tongue to Britney.
I literally read that
That's
as
great.
You know what I read the word tongue as? I thought he misspelled something.
Torch?
I thought he was saying torch, and then I was like, tounge?
Tungui? So
the English language.
The other thing I loved was, I think it was during Anita's performance, she had Fat Joe on stage, and some other guy, I don't know who the other guy was, that was on with Fat Joe. But what's
his name? Another one.
Khaled? It wasn't Khaled. Was it? Was that Khaled? No.
It wasn't? I was cooking during this, so let's be very clear.
Performance VMAs. There's no way.
He was yelling another one.
Oh yeah, it was DJ Khaled. That didn't look like DJ Khaled to me.
Yeah, what the heck?
Anyway, I guess Khaled was probably the producer of that song. And the whole time I'm listening to it, I'm like, I know the sample of this song. And at first I thought it was the Safety Dance because it sounds very similar to that. But it was a Stevie B song. And right before they passed their song performance to Anita's following song performance, I think Stevie B was actually in the house because he literally said, shout out to Stevie B.
In the house.
And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know any of these people.
You don't know Stevie B?
I don't know Stevie B or Anita.
Spring love, come back to me.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, Stevie B. What else? Stevie B. Oh, man, I love freestyle, so you're going to have to bear with me for a second. What other songs did Stevie B have? Spring Love's the biggest. In My Eyes is a good one. I Want to Be the One. I want to be the one you're kissing and hugging.
These all sound the same to me.
Well, freestyle was all very similar.
It had all that weird.
I love freestyle music. And I think I was the one generation too young to really be like out in the party scene listening to freestyle music, but all of my older cousins were.
My brother and sister.
So like when my cousin Mickey was babysitting me, like those are the songs that I remembered listening to. And
that's why would be La Bouche Be My Lover be freestyle?
No, I think La Bouche would just be considered Eurodance. They're not really freestyle. That's dance.
Was
freestyle
there pop music then? Madonna was pop music.
Yeah.
Were there pop radios? There wasn't. When did Z100 start? Like there wasn't pop radio.
No, there were top 40 stations.
I guess
top 40 stations have been around for a long time. But yeah, and Jen said the original KTU days. So when I started working for 103.5 KTU in New York, which is a legendary radio station.
They were already the new KTU by then.
They were always the new KTU, which is weird.
The new KTU.
They started in, I believe, 1996. But when I started there in 2006, they were still playing a lot of that music. And we used to work with a party and club promoter and a concert promoter named Vito Bruno, who I believe now is the president of Brooklyn. I know that sounds insane, but you have borough presidents.
We love to see not a glow up, I guess.
But in New York, because the city's so big, you have these borough presidents who report, I guess, to the mayor or something. I don't know what the actual affiliation is, but I believe he's the borough president of Brooklyn. But he used to be a big artist promoter, club promoter, all of that stuff. He ran an event called Freestyle Free For All in conjunction with KTU. It was without a doubt the entire staff's favorite event every year. It was always in Atlantic City at the Taj Mahal. And it was all of those acts. It was Coro, TKA, Stevie B, Lisa, Crystal Waters. You'd have like Vanilla Ice played one year. So there'd be that time period as well, but mostly all freestyle acts. It was the shit. It was the best. So seeing him get a little bit of love yesterday at the VMAs was awesome. Come into my arms, baby, I know how you feel.
I will say there were times when there were some artists and I was like, who is this? And I started like having these moments of being so removed from like the radio pop culture world. Like even if these artists aren't played on the radio, you generally know them. Like if I was watching the VMAs with Ricky or Erica, they would be sitting there, not the cat, they would be sitting there telling me like, oh, this is so-and-so and they have this song or they're doing this. Like they would know all of these things, but not having to know any of this. I was for a moment was like, is this the end? Not like
2029 is the end.
That is true. Not the end of like my life. The end of me knowing new artists. Have I finally hit that point? Most people, it's like what, 20?
Normally, by the time you're 30, you've stopped listening to new music.
It's much sooner than that. So I'm like, man, did I finally hit my thing? Because my sister, I'd say by the age of 24, my younger sister, by the age of 24, at the absolute max, stopped knowing anything pop.
You made it pretty far, though. 55 is good to still listen to new music. Mm-hmm. You know who Anita is?
No.
Okay. I didn't know who the other person
is Anita
performed with. Newish in America. She's Brazilian. She's been around for a long time, has millions and millions of fans across the world, but I think she's breaking more recently in America.
I will say I would hear some of the songs and be like, I know this song. I don't know it from the radio. Do I know it from Instagram?
TikTok?
Like, why do I know these songs? Where do I hear them? Commercials?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Made by Erica said Anita is amazing. She is really, really good.
Made by Erica. I got to see her yesterday, get some little breakfast with her in Seattle. It was fun.
And then Erica P said, I know Anita because she's hot and wears really sparkly outfits. She is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that did make me feel a little old when I was watching the VMAs was there were multiple times, whether it was during Katy Perry's 10-minute performance, whether it was during Anita's performance, there were so many times where I was like, can they put some clothes on? Mm-hmm. This seems a little, I feel like a little, this is
Katy
weird.
Perry is the same age as us, so that's not weird.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't necessarily the age of Katy Perry. It was just like it was a little raunchy. I felt a little.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I felt like a conservative.
This is the turning point.
I was like, these people need some Jesus. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of like, now I get it moments of, I don't know if I would want my 8-year-old watching that, but I sure as hell was watching it. My parents did not police any of that.
Oh, Diamond Girl?
Okay, we're done.
God, Stevie B got hits.
Anyway, Taylor Swift won like 7 moon people and shouted out Travie Trav.
I didn't realize they changed them. I'm sure this happened years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it went from Moon Man to Moon Person.
Which?
Because you win a Moon Person and you win multiple Moon people.
Yes, because women can be astronauts in this century.
Debatable.
Back in 1984.
There's one of them stuck up there right now. Not her fault, by the way.
One being stuck up there. Chris said it's been so much fun watching CMA get old over the years. Okay.
It's been kind of crazy. We've been podcasting now for 10 years. We've been doing some sort of thing on our own as a duo for 10 years. Like, I'm a completely different person.
Okay.
Than when I started.
Because I do want to get in. I want to talk about that. Yes, we can talk about that then. Now, go.
That's all I was going to say.
But I was thinking about how, like, literally yesterday I was thinking about this, and it stemmed from someone messaging me saying, I've been following you since you started at Z100, and I don't follow you for politics. I follow you for your content.
Yeah.
And first of all, there's no nice way to say this. Like, you know how to unfollow. Yeah. I appreciate the support all these years, but you're not paying me to post on Instagram. I'm not your whatever.
I think that is a nice way to say it.
Goodbye.
I think that is a nice way to say it. You don't pay for this content. You don't own it. You don't make my opinions. You're allowed to be here if you want.
Right.
You're allowed to not be here if you want.
If you listen to me the first time I was on the air as an intern, I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
You cannot expect me to grow up for 15 years, be a full adult, unfortunately. I have to say that that's what I am, a full adult in my late 30s, a homeowner who has passions and things that they care about, and not expect me to be vocal, to have lived these 15 years and have experiences and have met people who have been through things and not care about women's reproduction, having rights, women having the same rights, Black women having the same rights as women. Black men have, like, you can't expect me to not care about things. I'm sure you care about things. And guess what? I have a platform that I can use. And if that makes you mad, I'm sorry. But you can't expect people to not grow and not care.
You know, there's this weird thing that happens. And we'll get into when do you share baby news next week, because we do have to get out of here since, and it's not our baby news. Not even trying to tease that.
No.
There's this thing that happens, and I see it. There's a friend I have who's a little more conservative, works in radio, and I see him oftentimes tweet, like if the NFL does something about some social justice cause.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I just want to watch football. Blah, 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 blah. He's a good guy. I'm not trying to, but that's just what he sounds like when I read his tweets. But when Jason Aldean, when he goes to a Jason Aldean concert and Jason Aldean does a little rap about whatever he's believing in, I don't see him say, oh, I wish Jason Aldean would just stick to the songs, stick to the hits. That's just what I came here for. And I think we're all guilty of it. Right? When Kid Rock does something you don't like, whether he goes to a convention or shoots up a bunch of Bud Lights like a fucking maniac on his property, if you don't agree with what he does, you go, oh my God, Kid Rock, you're such a loser. But if another artist does something that you agree with, you kind of just, you accept it. And we're all guilty of it a little bit. What I think we need to do is go, hey, it's okay to, for the most part, just accept that other people have different views. Now, if you don't think gay people should be married, I can't agree with you.
No.
I can't. because I don't believe that anyone, based on their
Anything.
gender identity or the people they love, should be refused of rights that the rest of us get, or refused of things that the rest of us get to do. But if you believe in universal basic income, or you don't believe in universal basic income, if you believe in taxing the rich or not taxing the rich, those are things we can all talk about like human beings, and say, well, does this work? Does this not work? Let's try it out. We tried it out and it didn't work. Whatever. But I think to the person that said that to you, it just gets so, she was trying to compliment you and still couldn't let go, right, of that thing that she thinks she believes in so strongly.
And also the person she
she
thinks I am for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not the same person, but I'm still the same person, right? At the core, I haven't changed.
Yeah. You're
but
just
I've
64
grown.
years older.
I've grown, and I understand the world more. If I met 21-year-old me and had a conversation with me, I'd probably be like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
And I guarantee you, someone was listening to 21-year-old you and thinking you're an idiot.
They were. They called in. They would text in. They would tell me.
Oh, man.
And it's just, and we are in this weird world now where, yes, we had radio where we would hear these hosts our whole lives and hear them grow. But with social media, you see it, you hear it.
Yeah.
It stays in your mind way more than just the airwaves did. So
Yeah.
we've been very much a part of people's lives, and they filled in the other pieces in their head, right? We do this with celebrities. We do this with people that we half know. We make up these storylines without realizing. And so you've seen so much of our lives, but you're also filling in the other pieces, forgetting that, no, I very much have my own life.
Yeah.
And you're putting these things on me that you expect me to be.
The radio thing is interesting because for a long time, radio hosts could play characters. It's one of the reasons, actually, it's probably not talked about enough, but it's one of the reasons that there's a generation of male radio hosts that are predominantly gay.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that is because they were able to put on a show that had nothing to do with their personal lives, and they could pretend to be whoever they wanted, and it allowed them to feel free in a concealed way for a long time.
Yeah.
When in other areas they probably couldn't be themselves, and they got to put on a play essentially and make their own world on the radio. But people were able to play characters back in the day on radio because, like you said, you only saw them or listened to them for a couple of hours a day.
And that was it. You couldn't go back and listen to all the things you missed.
It was that thing, and that was it. So they could have a whole different persona on the radio that you never had to question because you never saw what they did outside of that.
And if you had a 25-minute commute and then including commercials, you only heard 8 minutes of that show with music.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the end. That's all you knew of that person. You couldn't even find out what they looked like unless you went to an event.
It's one of the reasons you don't see radio shows with people like Greg T or Lunchbox anymore. Not because those guys were playing characters. Those guys I know them both personally. Those guys were exactly the exact same people you hear and see on radio or social media.
I think they're more compassionate than they get credit for on the air.
But there isn't, or I should say there aren't new people coming up in radio willing to do all of the stuff that those guys did and be the punching bag for someone or the punchline for someone because now it lives on social media forever. Yeah. And there aren't people willing to make that sacrifice and kind of sacrifice for the bit, if you will. And no one in the world did it better than Greg T.
No.
No one will ever do it as good as Greg T did it. I really don't think there's a person who can ever fill that role.
I have been in a room with that man when he pooped his pants. I
grilled steak on his butt.
I taped a bullseye to his butthole. Naked butthole.
I taped
that would never be allowed
to
today.
his butt cheeks.
Never allowed.
Yeah.
I've found those photos on Facebook, and I'm like, I should probably take these down. It's me taping to his butthole.
But It's crazy. Now, that radio world, that part of the radio world probably will never come back.
Yeah.
There is actually, I don't know if you're still in here, Marijuana, who's my barber, Miles, was telling me, I guess, the same people who did Dark Side of the Ring, which is a great docuseries about some of the tragic stories in the world of wrestling, whether they're people you know, like Chris Benoit, or stories that you might like. The whole idea of the movie Iron Claw that came out last year, that was an episode of Dark Side of the Ring earlier. There's something, I don't know if it's Dark Side of the 90s, but there's one episode that's specifically about shock jocks. Like the Howard Stern,
that's right.
like Howard Stern when he was crazy Howard Stern, and all the jocks around the country that were trying to do that same thing. And like the lives they've ruined, all the crazy shit they did because they could get away with it then, because there were these brief blips on the radio. Where now you have to live that all the time on social media.
Different.
I don't think it's possible to do it anymore.
No, it's definitely not.
For that episode, that's a good shift. Yeah.
People are just finding out now, so that Greg T and Carolina are no longer on the radio on KTU. They got let go. Their show got canceled. Like, I don't know.
They got let go.
They got let go.
Yeah.
A few months ago. And you can follow them on social media. Like Jen just said, Greg T is starting. He's done a new thing. I think it's called Where Tia Go?
Where to Go.
Where to Go.
Where to Go.
Oh, I get it. I was thinking it was like Greg T. On Instagram. I see that, but I don't think I saw I've seen him post it. It's not his own. It's not a new Instagram. It's on his Instagram, right?
I think he also started a new Instagram with it. Yeah.
He promotes businesses around New Jersey.
Yeah.
With Garrett. That's awesome. Yeah. So.
You said with Garrett?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize Garrett was a part of it too.
Yeah. So it sucks. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. The only silver lining there, because those are two people I obviously care about very much. They were replaced with I don't know what the timeline was, but the new show that's going to take their place is someone who was on the station already. It's someone who's lived the KTU brand for almost its entire existence. It's someone who I know really well, Hollywood Hamilton, and I have a lot of respect for. I believe Astra, who's also on the radio there, is going to be part of his morning show. So I'm glad that a station that's that important to New York City and New Jersey and Long Island, a little bit of Connecticut, I'm glad that they didn't just pull some rinse and repeat bullshit morning show. Because they had the opportunity. They probably could have saved a lot of money, right? That station deserves a morning show that's doing it every day and knows the station. So that's the silver lining for me.
Yeah.
It still sucks.
But
that two people that we love very much have to go through the same thing we went through a couple of years ago. But at least it's someone who knows the brand. Let's see. Veronica says it sucks because back in the day when Elvis would get let go, he could go, he could go somewhere new. Now iHeart owns everything and non-competes suck. Yeah, Elvis talks about in his book how he got fired a bunch of times and just bounced around.
Yeah, it's also harder now when you're Greg T and Carolina, you have a full family.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, all right, I'm going to go do radio and wherever.
Yeah. You can't just pick up and go to Tulsa.
No. So.
I'd like to one day, though. Just pick up.
And they probably don't even have a live radio.
In Tulsa? Probably not.
So it's a weird world and where it's a unique skill that not a lot of people have, but you can apply it to almost any job, but it's figuring out how to spin it for that job. But also when you've done radio for so long and then you see what like people, you're like, I don't know what I was talking to, Made by Erica and I were at breakfast yesterday. And for a while she worked in a different industry, also has her own business. And now she's working for another company. And she said something. I was like, what does that word mean? I said, I would have to Google. She said, I was doing that when I first started. I was like, what are these words? What are you saying?
I hear, for example, I have a friend who works pretty high up at UPS. Another friend who works pretty high up at Facebook. And I hear them talking about work things and using corporate jargon that it is so far over my head. I don't think the concepts that they implement are that far over my head, but it's literally a different language. Even when we go to the Roosevelt's office, I'll hear them talking about things on their calls and whatnot, and I'm like, "What the fuck
I had
are you
to
saying?"
ask, what? So what is that?
Yeah,
and I don't mind asking. You can't expect me to know this, right? I'm not dumb because I don't know what your
Listen.
industry is. Come here, I'll show you some things.
Exactly. Even if they came to the studio and you said, I don't know, turn on the stream.
I'll give any of you spit everywhere. I'll give you a microphone
Yeah.
and you go talk in front of all those people.
It's not even that. I think if you took someone to a radio studio right now, there's a language that pertains to that job.
Yeah.
There's equipment, there's functions that you just have to train in. You have to be in there.
Here's the difference, though. I would say, I'm going to generalize corporate America here. That what happens in radio, words that happen in radio, I said the backwards, right?
Yeah.
Don't really happen anywhere else, where in corporate America, I'd say a lot of them happen interchangeably.
Probably.
And that's what I'm saying, is that it's such like this unique
Here's
skill that is very hard to just, and I can do this now.
But here's the other thing to think of. Outside of our job on radio, the on-air part or the production part, there's a corporate side of that too.
Yes.
Those people all probably know the same stupid words.
I don't know if they do.
Or at least some of them. It is time for us to get out of here. We do have to roll, but there is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast available wherever you get your shows, and we will be back right here in the studio on Monday.
Peace out.
Peace.